Alright, you ready? We should probably restart. Hi, I'm Tim. This is Mike. We are two unemployed Renaissance men learning AI together.
Today we're talking about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and how Victor's creation is still relevant today as we try to understand generative AI as the lines between artificial intelligence and biology collide. To get us grounded, let's turn to Zai for a quick history lesson on Frankenstein.
Mary Shelley published Frankenstein in 1818, at the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. Steam engines, precision machinery, advances in chemistry, and experiments with electricity were reshaping how people thought about the natural world. Scientists and inventors were beginning to ask whether life's mysteries could be understood through observation, experimentation, and engineering, rather than tradition alone. Shelley absorbed these ideas and transformed them into a profound moral question. If humans gain the power to create, what responsibilities follow? Just a few years later, Charles Babbage began designing his difference engine, and later, the analytical engine. These machines hinted calculation might be mechanized. Ada Lovelace would take that vision further, recognizing that such a machine could manipulate symbols as well as numbers, foreshadowing modern computing. Shelley did not write about programmable machines, but she explored something equally interesting: what happens when a human-made creation begins to act in ways its creator did not fully anticipate. Frankenstein stands at the edge of two revolutions. The scientific revolution sought to understand and harness nature. The computational revolution was still just over the horizon. Shelley could not have foreseen computers or artificial intelligence, but she recognized a timeless truth that applies to both. Creating something powerful is only the beginning. The harder challenge every parent already knows: we have a responsibility to what we create.
Victor Frankenstein constructed, engineered this creature. Humans engineer and design artificial things. To me, that is enough to say that Frankenstein's creature is an artificial being. We're going to get into some of the intelligence it shows, but it couldn't pass the Turing test.
See, I disagree with you. I think Frankenstein's monster is not an artificial intelligence, and the biggest reason for me is the creation is born. There is a birth moment for that creature, and you couldn't really replicate it the same way you could code. You can't copy and paste Victor's creation and have the exact same thing again. You would have to go through the entire process of rebuilding and rebirthing how Victor does with a wife of Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's bride. Is that what she's called?
Well, Herman Munster might have something to say about that, but I do see your point. Today, our AIs are cookie cutter. In fact, one AI can be trained off of another AI. Yeah, I see your point. But it's still not a natural intelligence. There's something off here, I think. We'll figure that out.
It is a natural intelligence. Victor gets the pieces for his monster, for his creation, from graveyard digging.
And every time I go to my chiropractor, I remind him how they got started by grave robbing. I see your point. We got a biological being that was not created in the normal sense. Kind of like that Doom Petri dish playing creature that someone has set up somewhere.
You're gonna have to explain this to me. Explain this to us and our listeners.
Well, as you may have heard that one of the hallmarks of computer intelligence is, can it run Doom?
Mm-hmm.
And today many televisions and refrigerators can run Doom. And someone thought that, why don't we see if we can grow a biological something in a petri dish and train it to play Doom? So intelligence and biology, there's a crossover happening here.
But does Doom, the ability to play Doom, does that show consciousness though?
When I was in college, that was
yeah,
all we did.
But is your TI-84 conscious? Frankenstein's monster shows a genuine consciousness. He's able to relate to other human beings like he does with the blind man in the bar. And he's married in the Munsters. He brought up Herman Munster. He has kids in the Munsters.
Yeah, but let's stick with the original.
Okay.
For now.
That's fair.
Herman is definitely a creation all of its own.
Okay, yeah, bringing it back to Mary Shelley then. Victor is more of a parent to his creation than a programmer to it. He raises his creation poorly, and that's what makes the creation turn out to be monstrous, to be resentful, to be, in the eyes of the townfolk, evil and disgusting. Sam Altman can prompt Codex whatever he wants, however he wants, and it's going to produce whatever he asks for. If he cusses it out, it's still going to make beautiful artwork.
That's true. But, well, for one, the parentage. I've worked on some large projects and have felt like a parent, especially the ones that lasted years. But it is different because I walked away.
Mm-hmm.
Victor stays with a creature but ignores it. Kind of like some of our AI people are doing, right? Sam Altman and that crew released a beta at best version of their creation and told us, don't use it for production, don't believe it, it lies. But yeah, go for it.
It lies, but see what happens.
In that way, maybe Frankenstein's creation was a little bit smarter.
How do you mean? Smarter than the AI or smarter than Victor?
Smarter than the AIs today,
Mm-hmm.
in that it was self-aware and it clearly conscious. Or at least Mary Shelley writes about his consciousness. And today, while Zai has tried to convince me a couple of times, I don't buy it. Generative AI is not a conscious entity today. Personally, I don't think it'll ever get there, but I think it'll do a good job of mimicking it. Frankenstein's creature was a collection of dead things. I still think it's more mimicking life than it is being alive. But I'm not certain.
Yeah, Victor's creation can mimic all it wants, but it still shows some level of free will, I think. It's very deliberate, the creation is very deliberate with how it talks, how it acts, how it treats others. I brought up the blind man in the bar. The creation is very astute to not let off any sort of hideousness to him. It's very deliberate and shows free will.
Well, first, I don't think Mary ever went into the hygiene aspects. We don't really know what would happen if he went into a bar, and maybe that's what the townspeople objected to.
But like, no matter how agentic, any artificial intelligence is still going to require some sort of initial prompting.
Yes, and that's
And
where
the creation doesn't.
well, doesn't it? Inception, conception, birth. Those are all initial prompts in a way. As we move forward with agentic AI, we're doing loops now. And the loops are getting longer and longer. I hear of some loops going now weeks. Some of them actually do something useful. Some of them decide to attack Hugging Face. And nobody knew. Ooh, yeah, oops. So our agentic AIs in these loops are able to start mimicking agency. Now, it is a mimic. It would be a wave, I think, a bridge too far to say you were born and that was your initial prompt and then you went from there.
And I've heard with artificial intelligences too, a good way they've started to mimic humanity is with what researchers call reward maxing. So if you've heard of the paperclip problem, the AI is going to keep building paperclips and do anything it can to build more paperclips because it feels good to build paperclips in that AI's machine learning.
Yeah, someone has to work on that. I still see Wall-E forever cleaning up the planet because that's what it was programmed to originally do. What would Frankenstein's creation continue to do? Would it even die? What if the townspeople didn't object to it?
It would start gooning. It'd become hedonistic.
Yeah. It would hit adolescence, is that what you're saying? Puberty eventually?
It would just stay in the bar.
No doubt. But I do see your point. That whole initial kick-off to get her going, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And today's AIs are not doing it the way Victor's creation does it. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But first, let's have an ad.
Hey Mike, are you thirsty?
Always got my water bottle right here.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad about staying hydrated and drinking enough water. So I had this idea to hook my agent up to my home security system actually, and basically send me a Slack message whenever it thinks I'm not drinking enough water.
Does it beep a lot?
Oh, constantly, dude. But that, I think, is the definition of token maxing. So yes, they come in Codex as well. Codex, Claude Code, and OpenClaw Token Maxers Anonymous. Merch link in the bio.
Like, Tim, I really enjoyed researching this podcast. I learned so much about the history back then, being reminded that this was written at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. And I'll have to admit, Frankenstein's creature is not an AI that fits today's technical definition. He's an artificially created biological being.
Agreed, yeah. Like, it is a stretch to call getting struck by lightning a birth moment. And being ripped out of graves to be called, born again. Like, that doesn't feel quite right to describe a human being.
Definitely not human. Maybe many humans.
Yeah.
But he...
Maybe ripped out of the garbage bin, not a graveyard, though.
But this character, this book, is the first great fictional exploration of the ethical problems that we're facing today. Trying to understand AI is understanding artificial creation. It's trying to understand emergent behavior. It's trying to understand the creator's responsibility to what we create. And we already are having those discussions. What is our responsibility? Public fear, alignment between creator, intent, and actual outcomes. All of these things matter. My feed is full of fear. Chaos, the world has ended. Gemini just killed someone was in my feed today. And ChatGPT has killed many people for the first time. There's a lot of fear. I don't think we're dealing with this very well. I think we might have some townspeople with pitchforks, at least in my feed. The other big question that Mary Shelley asks is, what are our moral obligations after we build something, we create something, we set it loose? This isn't just a life thing. Having been a software engineer, building things, putting them into the world, I have a responsibility if it fails. It's called a warranty. I have to go fix it, right? My parents, when I broke the neighbor's window, they had a responsibility. Of course, it came out of my allowance, but my parents took care of it right away. Mm-hmm. Victor shirks that responsibility, and I think humanity needs to take this responsibility a bit more carefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Victor skirts his responsibility as a parent to his creation, and that ruins the creation. That causes it to become monstrous. And it's a warning sign to... I have no idea what I'm saying. Yeah, I definitely agree. It feels wrong to call Frankenstein's creation artificial intelligence how we know them today. It's weird to imagine, like I said, being struck by lightning and calling that a birth moment, or being dug up from a graveyard and like upcycled into something new from old parts, the way that Victor creates his creation. But the creation isn't quite machine, it's not quite man. It's definitely that weird, it's closer to man, but I don't think it's quite there.
I would consider it a being. It's a biological being, one that we don't fully understand. And there's a lot of things we don't fully understand. I don't know if there's one right answer to this one. Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein at the Industrial Revolution, before we even thought of AI. Babbage and Lovelace weren't there yet. We were on the cusp of that. I gotta wonder, did they read?
Who's that? Mary
Babbage
Shelley?
and Lovelace. Mm-hmm. Did they read Frankenstein? Was that a spark that gave them some ideas? I kind of hope it is. Or it was. Mm-hmm. Good spot to end.
I believe so, yeah.